What's up, Met fans? Welcome back. Talking Mets and Rob, Trevor Bauer edition. So, what has been going on with Trevor Bauer? Well, according to John Heyman, the Mets have interest in Trevor Bauer likely on a short term deal, around 4 years or fewer. Now, about 2 weeks ago, it seemed like we were out on Trevor Bauer. There wasn't even any speculation that they would be in on Trevor Bauer. And after the Lindor Carrasco trade, it just seems like it just didn't make sense. It would just put the Mets over the luxury tax. And when the Mets didn't want to go the extra 25 million for Springer, we just assumed that they were just trying to stay under the luxury tax. But that seems not to be the plan anymore. It seems like if they can go get Trevor Bauer on a short-term deal, around 4 years or fewer, around $30 million, they don't mind going over the luxury tax. So what I'm trying to understand is they wouldn't do it for center field, which was a need for George Springer, but they have no problem doing it with Trevor Bauer, who, in all respect to him, hasn't really been great in his career, but won the Cy Young in the shortened 2020 season. So what I'm thinking is, why the hell not? You know why? How would this rotation look with Trevor Bauer in the Mets rotation in 2021 and beyond? It would look amazing. Now, if you look at the rotation right now without Bauer, it would be Jacob DeGrom is our ace, obviously. We got Carlos Carrasco, Marcus Stroman, David Peterson, and Steven Matz as our fifth starter as of right now. That's a good rotation, but is it better than the Braves rotation? Is it better than the Nationals rotation? Maybe. But it really doesn't blow your mind. It ain't the best team. It ain't the best rotation that a team's going to be scared of if you face them in the playoffs. Yes, DeGrom, you worry about him. But other than that, you got nobody who's dominant. And I just feel like Bauer is just hitting his peak. I think he's getting better. I think he figured it out last year. And even in 2019, he know that he had to change things around and do things differently to make himself a better pitcher. And he did that. And he's proven that in 2020, even though it was a short and 60-game season, even though he pitched against one of the worst leagues and division in the Central, in the American League and National League. But at the same time, he figured things out. His spin rate went up on his curveball. He worked on his four seamer more. He pitched more up in his zone. So it just makes sense that he figured himself out. I really believe that he figured himself out and that he's going to get better. And if you look at the rotation with Bauer, it includes Jacob DeGrom. Right behind him is Trevor Bauer, Carlos Carrasco, Marcus Stroman, and then David Peterson. What does that show you? What does that do to this rotation? Well, it pushes everybody back. Instead of Carlos Carrasco being your number two, Trevor Bauer is your number two. Instead of Marcus Stroman being your number three starter in the rotation, he's your number four. And then you can put David Peterson as your fifth starter and use Matz in a different role. And maybe put him in the bullpen. Maybe that can be the lefty in the bullpen. So we've seen Matz do it before. So he could do it. If you give him a role in the bullpen, I think he can be a good lefty out of the bullpen. So I really think that the Mets can do this. If they really are true about going over the luxury tax for Trevor Bauer, let's do it. We did plan B with everything else this offseason. No Realmuto, no George Springer. We got James McCann, plan B. It seems like we're going plan B with center field. So let's go for plan A, and that is Trevor Bauer to the New York Mets. Is it going to be about $30 million a year? Probably. But you know what? I truly believe that he is going to be a better pitcher than he was in the last couple of years, excluding 2020 season. I just think he found something in 2020. He figured out what he was doing wrong. He fixed it, and that's what made him a Cy Young Award winner in 2020. Now, how would this rotation look with Cy Young DeGrom and Cy Young Trevor Bauer back to back? That is a dangerous rotation. And knowing that a solid Carrasco at number 3 and Marcus Stroman, who is basically pitching for a new and longer, bigger contract. And then he got David Peterson that is showing us exactly what he did last year. And who knows, he can be better and he can be that really good lefty in that 5th spot in that rotation. Now, I was looking on at Twitter, and Mark Lumino made a good point when it came to with Max Scherzer and Trevor Bauer. And basically, what I was looking at, what he posted on Twitter, was that Trevor Bauer was actually pitched similar to Max Scherzer when Max Scherzer got his big deal. If you look at it right here, Max Scherzer, 12 and 14, 3.24 ERA. Look at his whip, look at his FIP, look at his ERA plus, look at his strikeouts percentage. And if you look at Trevor Bauer, he had a better ERA, a better whip, a higher strikeout percentage. It just shows that it really doesn't matter what guys did in the past. What are they doing right now? And what can change going forward? Can that person get better? That's what you're projecting. You see, all these teams now, what are they trying to do exactly? They're basically trying to project what this play is going to do for me this year and beyond. Not, okay, we're going to give you a big contract from what you do in years past. That's not what teams are doing anymore. And I think it's a good investment, even though you got to pay Conforto, even though you got to pay Lindor, even though you got to extend Noah Syndergaard. You just have to realize is that, do you believe Trevor Bauer can be better going forward and projecting him doing better? Now, I'm not saying he's going to be a Cy Young Award winner like he was in 2020, but we don't need that. We need a really solid, strong number 2. Someone who can pitch like an ace, who can pitch like a Cy Young, and be that backup to Jacob deGrom. When teams going into a series and starting a series, you got deGrom, Bauer, and Carrasco for a 3-game set. I mean, that's you going into a series saying, we can sweep this series because of the pitching. So what I really want to explain to you guys is that I know there's been a lot of craziness with Twitter and Bauer with his YouTube video and him being very public on social media. I don't care. You know why I don't care? Because if he pitches well, he's going to be on YouTube. He's going to be on social media. If he pitches bad, he's going to be on YouTube. He's going to be on social media. So either way, he's going to be doing everything on social media. All I care about is what you do on a mound every 5th day, or in his case, every 4th day. So I think that it's a good investment. He's 30 years old. You give him a 4-year deal, maybe 3-year deal for around $30 million a year. You got yourself a 1A in this rotation. And it pushes everybody back like we talked about before. Trevor Bauer should be a Met. The Mets seem like they have a lot of interest in him now. It does seem like he really wants to be a Met, even though we talked about other teams. It just seems like he likes what's going on with the Mets when it comes to Cohen, and players wanted to play for Cohen and the Mets. And there's no better place to play than in New York. And I might be a little biased, but there's no better place to play than Citi Field and wearing the orange and blue, possibly the black jersey. So what I'm saying, guys, is that Trevor Bauer should be a Met. The Mets should do what they can and everything in their power to sign Trevor Bauer. I think 4 years is good enough. I think he would go 4 years. I don't think anybody wants to give him more than 4 years. I think it's a show me type of deal. Because when he does come out of that deal in 4 years, he's still 34 years old and probably had a good couple of years left, depending on what he does in that 4-year contract. So if you really look at it, if he gets $30 million a year, that's 4 years, $120 million. Now, that puts us over the luxury tax this year. But what it does is that you've seen the Springer deal with Toronto, how they front loaded the deal. So when they have to pay their other stars, their young guys in the next couple of years, they lowered Springer's contract and they can do that with their payroll. So I think that's what you can do with Bauer. Maybe you give him a little bit more in the first 2 years or in the first year, maybe a little bit more like 32, 33, 34 million. So you can be able to have that little bit of flexibility to pay Lindor, to pay Conforto, to pay Syndergaard, and to extend those guys. So I wanted to let you guys know that the Mets are very interested in with Trevor Bauer, possibly for a short-term deal, around 4 years, maybe shorter. So I just wanted to up-to-date you guys on that. Hopefully, we see a little bit more action on Twitter and everywhere else. Hopefully, the Mets make a deal with Trevor Bauer, part of its rotation, part of this Mets team, part of this chance to win the NL East, go to the playoffs, win a World Series. All right, guys, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and let's go Mets.